We are here today on this good-looking November day at the Walden Cemetery. Walden Cemetery out off of 1189. I guess you'd call this the Cane Creek area, not to be confused with Cane Creek. John Paul down in the Daniel Boone Forest. John Paul and I have been here mowing today. You wouldn't believe how much better this place looks. That old sage grass was what, 3 feet tall?
Yeah.
So anyway, this is one of my favorite cemeteries. It's beautiful country. I mean, just beautiful. Don't know who owns all this pasture land out in here, but it's beautiful country. The Waldens obviously were pretty highly educated people. I've been here a number of times. I always meant to do a video on it. There, in each corner, well, on 3 of the 4 corners, they brought in these huge stones. And on 2 of them, there are, what would you say, John? Sayings or quotes or philosophies in life. I'll show you this one right here. This stone, my goodness, it would weigh 1.5 tons, maybe 2 tons. It's a monster, huge stone. But they hired somebody to carve this. I'm going to read this to you. Isn't life, all life, a never sort of goal? And yet there ever comes a voice to sing, to tell about the hungers of the soul for love or dreams and books and things. What do you think about that, John? That is unique. When's the last time you saw that carved on a rock in a country cemetery?
Never.
I don't know who these Walden people were, but they were well-educated people. You can tell just from the stuff that's on the stones. I'll share another one with you here. Opposite the front corner, it's another big sandstone piece. I always loved this one, John. It's starting to break away in a couple places, but it says death is the end of illusion. Death is the end of illusion. Let your mind get around that, bro.
Take a while to absorb that.
In other words, they're saying life is an illusion. Death is the end of it. You just can't appreciate how much we've mowed here today. It was really high. These yucca plants, we're wanting to get them out of here too. There's another big stone over here I'll share this with you too. Now, I don't claim to be an expert on what I'm about to tell you. You can Google it for yourself. The graves of Claire E. Walden and Walter M. Walden. And in the center of that, you will see these words, Om Mane Padme Hum. Now, I've done a little bit of research, and this Om Mane Padme Hum, John Paul, shows up in a number of places, in a number of different languages.
Sanskrit.
It's like a Sanskrit mantra, almost like a prayer. But anyway, the Om Mane Padme Hum basically is written out in the form of 4 words, when actually it's supposed to be broke down into 6 syllables. Om, Ma, Ni, Pod, May, and Whom. Is that 6? Om, Ma, Ni, Pod, May, Whom. And the 6 individual syllables, from what I've read, John, represent the 6 petals of the lotus flower. And those 6 petals of the lotus flower represent the 6 characteristics of man. Well, let me say it again. The 6 characteristics that humankind are supposed to strive for. I know one of them is patience. I can't remember right offhand. I'll add them in right here to the video. Mane Padme Hum. But anyway, in front of that stone is another big rock. Huge rock. Huge piece of rock. And on the side of the rock, on the face of the rock, it has carving. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see this because of the light. It says DC Sham Ba La. I researched that once, and it's some type of church, some type of what do you call that? Transcendentalism? Yeah, something along that line, and I may be totally off, but DC Shambhala is a religious organization that these people apparently were members of. So on this face of this rock, you see that DC Shambhala, and then you've got CE, if you can see that or not, CE and William Walden. And then over here on this face, Mane Padme Hum. That's a big rock. John, go over and stand on that rock just to give some reference on how big that rock is. That's a big rock. If you were to lay down on it, that thing's, geez, 6 feet across. What do you think about Mane Padme Hum?
That's interesting. This is too.
Well, Alex and Leona, I've always struggled with this. I know Hooked on Phonics was supposed to work for me. I would call that Zent McLossy.
Close enough.
Alex and Leona Beck, Zent McLossy. I would say that Leona was a Walden. And, of course, you see I guess that's the hand of God and a Bible over there. And it says, to the workers of the world, if you wept every day and shed real tears, you couldn't mourn your loss in 1,000 years. WMW. There's WMW right there, Walter M. Walden. What's your take on that?
Well, but that's wondering what they're referencing there.
To the workers of the world? You mean maybe the workers of their religion?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some really old stones out in here too. It's 1919. Probably a Spanish flu victim right there. But the yucca plants are just taking this stinking place over, man. If anybody knows of a way to kill yucca plants without killing me and John, leave it in the comments, because we're trying to figure out how to rid the cemetery of yuccas. Besides slinging a mattock. But a very interesting cemetery indeed. I've been coming out here for years and doing a little weed eating, a little find a grave documentation. There's always work to be done in the cemetery. We dug up some of the yuccas here today. We're gonna have to come back and reset this stone somehow or another. Get that base leveled and get that back up there. But I've just always thought that the Walden Cemetery was just a beautiful, beautiful surroundings, awesome location. It's kind of in an area between 229 and Blackwater. When you say that's where this is, John? Between 229 and Blackwater?
Yeah.
On 1189? So, a happy Mane Padme Hum to you, man.
Sure thing.
Anybody knows anything about that Sanskrit, that mantra, or whatever you call it, leave us a comment. And also we're particularly interested in killing yuccas. This is a yucca forest around here.
Yucca City.
Yucca City. I mean, they just take over, man. Here's a stone right in here. We're definitely gonna get those away from that and fix that stone. That's all for another day. We're just happy that the 3 or 4 feet grass is gone. Well, you can see this little skinny thing right here. It is, I'm holding it straight up. It's that high. We skipped that one. It's like this entire place was grown up, and that whatever it is, fescue, looks a lot better. Looks a lot better now. That's going to wrap it up for John, Paul, and I from somewhere out on Cane Creek in the southeastern section of Laurel County, the Walden Cemetery. Thanks for watching.